Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this week's video, which is kind of a summary of the travelling that I've done in this region of France, in the 04 department, in the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. It's a very lovely region and I've managed to do a fair amount of travelling in and around Forcalquier. And so yeah, I just want to give you sort of a bit of a brief sum up of how it's been, what bits I've enjoyed and where I think is really worth going. So if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about what I've done, stick them in the comment section below and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So to start off, and before I go back to my apartment and talk you through the rest of them, I just want to talk a bit about the magic of cycling a bike here. The scenery is stunning and I feel like riding a bike here has really allowed me to appreciate the natural beauty of the area a lot more than I would have done otherwise, because when you sort of go traveling, you go and see maybe one specific thing, two specific things, towns, villages, and if you're in the car you miss, I feel, the connection with the nature and the sort of it's a bit cheesy, but like the journey to get there. And I think cycling has been really special for me here, and it has allowed me to explore different parts of the region in a different way. And I mean, I'm really lucky that my dad drove me down and I was able to bring my road bike. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't. I probably would have run more and injured myself more, but there we go. I think this might actually be my last proper ride while I'm here. I've only got 2 weeks left. It's a lovely day, Sunday afternoon, and I'm currently at the Monastère de Ganagobi. Did a bit of gravel riding up there just now to go and see it. It's a really lovely monastery that is still a monastery and has been for, there's no number on there, for many, many years basically. And the road to get up here is incredible. It's like a Mediterranean coastal road almost. So it's really, really cool. Whereas the rest of it is sort of more mountainous Provençal roads around here. I sort of turned off the main road and started the climb, which was hard, by the way. And it was just incredible. I think it's worth mentioning another thing that I've done while riding my bike is the Mont Ventoux. I cycled up there right at the start of my placement. And you can watch the video by clicking on a card here or here. I can't remember which side. And there'll be a link in the description below as well. So that'll give you a sort of a more detailed impression of what that bike ride was like and what the Ventoux is like. What they call it, the something of Provence, I can't really remember. But yes, I'm now gonna head back home. This is my last sort of stop on my little tour of the villages around Forcalquier. And once I'm back, I will take you through the rest of the places I've been in Provence. So here we go. Okay, back in the flat now, and admittedly, it is slightly later than just after that bike ride you've just seen. But we'll get straight into it with some of the other interesting things I've seen around here. And sort of linking to the little villages and things that I spoke about just there that I've explored on my bike and the countryside and things, there's a really interesting rock formation 20-25 minutes from here called the Pénitents au Mées, or the Pénitents des Mées. I'm not too sure. They're these really funky big rocks that almost seem man-made in a way. It's that sort of like those sort of houses that seem to be made of seashells and things like that. They seem to be made of that almost. But there are these huge walls and you can go for a walk over the top of them. And then as you come down, a really steep, sketchy descent, and you come back into the village where you sort of start the walk, you get to look up at these incredible, just slabs of stone. My dad and I saw them for the first time as we were driving to Forcalquier, and I was like, what on earth has happened there? I actually can't remember if I even found an explanation for how they were formed. But it's just really cool and a bit rogue. It's definitely not my favorite thing of the area or what I've seen, but kind of funky. Next up, we have the Gorges du Verdon, and I was only able to go and see these because a family friend came to visit me and she rented a car. I was going to cycle there and cycle back, but we went in the car and we were able to sort of kayak up these wonderful, really steep-walled gorges with this fantastic coloured water. It was really, really beautiful. And it was sort of enough off-season that it wasn't that crowded. I mean, you look at some of the photos in the summer, and it's just basically you can't see the water because there are so many people. It's really popular. But it wasn't too cold to be unpleasant. And I even managed to have a really nice swim in the lake. It's called Lac de Sainte-Croix, I think. That sort of is the main sort of bit of the gorges. Well, it kind of leads off of the main bit of the gorges. And it's a really long system of high-walled valleys, essentially. And we went to the most famous one by this lake. And yeah, it was just stunning. And then just nearby, there's a little town called Moustier-Sainte-Marie, something like that, I think, which is also really lovely. And you kind of just get to see a bit of like a little French village. That there are lots of little French villages, but this one's particularly nice. It's very touristy because it's by the Gorges du Verdon, but it's really pretty. We had a fantastic burger and a very, very good ice cream there afterwards. So that's that. Really enjoyed those. Next up, we have Aix-en-Provence, twinned with Bath, near where I live, interestingly enough. And it's a city, and it has quite a big university in it, I believe. And it does remind me a bit of Bath, actually. It's not, it doesn't have grand Georgian architecture or anything like that, but it seems to be a similar size. It seems to have a similar kind of shopping-y, quirky little thing. Now, I've been to Aix 3 or 4 times. The first time was to visit Aix and to drop off my laptop that I'd poured lemonade on. The second time was with my sister, actually. We had a lovely day just walking around the sort of Saturday market, get some really nice stuff. I particularly am a fan of the jams that I bought there. The strawberry and mint one, you'll probably never find it because it's this little bloke who sells them there, is fantastic. And it's just like a nice kind of fairly relaxed day out. The only problem is it's 15 euros on the bus there, 15 euros on the bus on the way back. So it's quite expensive, and a lot of the shops there are quite expensive as well. But it's kind of a nice atmosphere, I find. We went for the Christmas market before Christmas, obviously, and even there with lots of people, it was still really nice. And it has a lot more variety of shops than the places around here. So I think, for example, we went to a vegan patisserie, and fantastic. I had this sort of layered chocolatey, cakey type thing that was just amazing, and was amazing without feeling heavy or anything like that, which is sometimes quite hard with French patisserie. And it sort of buried away in a little corner that was really nice. And then we went to a Japanese patisserie the next time, where we had a nice green tea, got warm, and tried some funky, was it a Japanese cheesecake? Yes, which I also really liked. So it's just nice, bigger, a bit more variety, and it's fairly close by, just very expensive to get there, public transport wise. So that's Aix. Next up, we have the Calanques de Cassis. Now, the Calanques are a series of little sort of inlets inland from the sea, where, again, really sort of steep-walled, narrow gorges almost that come in from the sea. And the ones in Cassis, not sure, are very famous. They have some near Marseille, and then they have some in Cassis that is sort of a bit further east on the coast. And we went there, public transport, expensive again. So sort of, what did we have to do? We had to get a bus to Marseille, then a train to Cassis, then a bus to the coast, then we walked. And actually, it's sort of, I would argue it's more of a walking activity than a sort of sitting on the beach activity, because once you get to the beach, there are lots of people there, and sort of the most popular Calanque, there are lots of people there. We also went sort of probably right at the limit of where I would have been happy swimming in the sea, not wearing a wetsuit. I did go for a swim. It was very nice, but it was also very cold. The walk was actually really technical as well. It was quite challenging, but really, really beautiful, and I really enjoyed my day there. It was nice to go to the coast, and definitely worth it because it was just a really nice walky activity day out. And when we did sit on the beach and read, it was also very nice. The only thing is, as I said, the public transport is very expensive. So if you're trying to get from here all the way to the coast to go, it's quite expensive. Next up, we have Sisteron. Now, this is another interesting one because it's kind of linked in with the cycling. Now, I think cycling to Sisteron was probably the best thing to do. It's quite a small town overlooking a river with an enormous rock, lots of rock faces in this area, with an enormous rock face on the other side. Sort of the town is built on one side, and they've got another one on the other side, and it's really, really impressive. It's a really impressive site. I went early in the morning. It was quite an overcast day, and it was part of quite a big loop that I did. So I didn't hang around, but I did cycle through the streets, and it seemed really nice. I enjoyed it, and it was really cool to just see another slightly bigger town with slightly more things, but still equally as impressive, and equally as quirky as all the other ones around here. So I really enjoyed that. And it kind of goes to show how much, as I said at the start, how much I loved having my bike here because it gave me so many options. I don't think I would have gone to Sisteron had I not had my bike and it had been on a route that I'd planned. So that's really cool. Now, the last thing that I haven't been to yet, and I'm thinking of going to on my last weekend here, if the weather's nice, if the buses aren't too expensive, and if I want to use my last weekend for this, is going to Avignon. Now, for those of you who went to a French school or were at an English primary school where you sang songs, Sur le pont d'Avignon is an absolute banger. I recommend you check it out, and I've always wanted to go to the famous bridge in Avignon. So we'll see. I might go there. The bus timetables aren't exactly conducive to a day out. And if the buses are expensive, I probably won't go. I haven't had a look yet, but that's a possibility. A very quick update from a very cold editing Arthur wearing his very fetching DHL jumper. I did actually go to Avignon today. It was fantastic. I much preferred it to Aix. I thought it was stunning. The weather was lovely, and it was really exciting to go out onto the bridge, do a bit of a dance. And it was a really nice day out, and I really enjoyed it despite the 4 hours of buses and the 3 hours I actually got in Avignon. So that is sort of the adventures that I've had in the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region while I've been staying in Forcalquier. It's been really exciting, and I can't wait to see what adventures I can go on when I'm in Cordoba in Argentina. Fingers crossed that's happening. We don't think about it too much. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the places I've been, do ask them down below. I'm more than happy to. I hope you enjoyed the photos. It's been amazing exploring the region. And subscribe so that you do get to see adventures in Argentina. Stay tuned.